There's often just one single wall standing between you and the life you actually want to live. And it's not what you think. It's not money, it's not time, it's your mindset. So today, we're going to break down a framework that can help you change your life. Not next year, not next month, but like starting right now. So let me ask you this. Does this sound familiar? You've got these huge goals, these incredible dreams that you know deep down you're capable of, but they just feel so far away. And maybe there's that little voice in your head that whispers you're just wasting your potential. It is an incredibly frustrating place to be, and honestly, it's where so many of us get stuck.
So, why do we get stuck there? Well, it often comes down to what our source material for this explainer calls the overwhelm trap. It's this mental loop that is super common and, as we're about to see, completely paralyzing. Okay, so it all starts right here. You've got a big, exciting goal. Maybe it's launching that business you can't stop thinking about, or writing that novel, or maybe just finally getting into the best shape of your life. It's big, it's inspiring, and it's just sitting there. And then what happens? Your logical brain kicks in and it starts to do the math. It starts listing every single task, every hurdle, every late night, all the sheer effort you're going to have to put in. And suddenly, that simple to-do list turns into an absolute monster.
Right after calculating all the work, you start calculating the time. You start seeing the months, maybe even years, stretching out in front of you. That mountain you were excited to climb suddenly looks impossibly high, and the top feels a lifetime away. And this is where it all just falls apart. The sheer size of it all becomes so overwhelming, so intimidating that the easiest thing to do feels like, well, doing nothing at all. You pick up your phone, you tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow, and all that incredible potential just stays locked away for another day.
But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be this hard. There is a way to break out of that trap. The source for this explainer actually shares this really personal story about how one simple shift in thinking was the key to finally getting unstuck. So it all started back in late December of 2023. At a real breaking point, the author had this moment of clarity and just said, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I can't just sit here and feel miserable and empty, waiting for my life to change for me. It was this really powerful decision that was born from total frustration.
And in that moment, this piece of advice came back to them, and it became the core of this whole idea, the one-step mindset. Just take a look at this definition. The idea isn't to ignore your big goal, but to radically shift your focus away from the entire terrifying journey and onto the single, manageable, immediate next action.
Now this slide just nails it. It breaks down that mental shift so perfectly. Over on the left, you've got the old way, staring up at the entire intimidating mountain you have to climb. But look to the right. The new mindset, it doesn't even see the summit. It just asks one simple question. Where am I going to put my foot next? That's it. That is the entire game.
So, okay, this all sounds great in theory, right? But the big question is, how do we actually apply this? How do we turn this powerful idea into a real daily practice that starts building some unstoppable momentum? Let's break down how it works.
The process is actually beautiful in its simplicity. First, you acknowledge your big goal, you keep it in mind, but then you immediately shrink your focus and you identify just one small step for today. So if your goal is writing a book, maybe that one step is literally just writing a single paragraph. Starting a business, maybe it's just registering the domain name. Then you do that step, and here's the most important part. You consider yourself done for the day. That's it. You won.
And look, if you ever need that extra little push to take your one step, just remember this powerful truth. Yeah, taking action can be uncomfortable sometimes, but that dull, constant ache of stagnation, of knowing you're standing still while your dreams are just fading, that pain will always be worse.
And this timeline just brilliantly illustrates how those tiny little steps start to add up. The decision was made in late December. All through January, the only rule was one small step every single day, and by mid-February, a completely new reality had set in. Not the reality of, I've made it, but something so much more powerful. The reality of, I am moving forward one day at a time.
This is why the source insists this mindset changes your life immediately. See, the biggest reward isn't some prize way off at the finish line. The most powerful change happens inside you, and it happens right away. So let's be super clear about what this does. You are not going to become an instant success overnight. That is not the point. What changes immediately from that very first step is that you are no longer dormant. You've given yourself a clear sense of purpose for the day. You have real, tangible proof that you are finally, slowly but surely, moving forward.
You've basically traded the dead weight of stagnation for the electrifying feeling of momentum.
Ultimately, it all boils down to this really powerful, almost paradoxical truth. You can't wait around for inspiration to strike or for the circumstances to be perfect. You have to be the one to start the change. You must change your life in order to change your life. That first tiny step is the change.
So that leaves us with one simple but crucial question. Forget about the mountain. Forget about next year, next month, or even next week. Thinking about your biggest goal, what is your one step for today?